You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Shining on like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied.
Welcome to Bilingual Health and Wealth Academy.
Hi, everyone.
Today we're diving into the world of startups.
Yeah.
With Dr. Ho's Thrive from Day One, a Startup Founder's Guide to Success.
A good one.
Dr. Ho, it's actually pronounced Dr. Ho, leads Kukoshum-san Ltd. and really digs deep into what it takes to build a successful startup from the ground up.
Yeah, and I think what's so fascinating is how they weave this whole concept of stepping stones throughout the book. It's not just about avoiding failure.
Right.
It's about using setbacks as fuel.
Yeah, it's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly.
But for a business.
Right, and that ties directly into resilience.
Okay.
Especially in those early days of a startup when things are a little chaotic.
Sure.
You're going to face rejection, unexpected hurdles, even moments where you think, is this even worth it?
Yeah.
And that's where resilience really becomes your superpower.
Okay, so how can our listener actually cultivate that kind of resilience?
Well,
it's easy to just say it's important, but how do you make it a tangible skill?
Right. Dr. Ho suggests starting with self-awareness. Take an honest look at your strengths and weaknesses, how you react under pressure,
Yeah.
Do you crumble or do you adapt?
Right.
Once you understand your own patterns, then you can start building a support system.
So you mean like having a network of mentors, advisors, maybe even fellow entrepreneurs?
Exactly.
Right.
Think about it. Even Olympic athletes have coaches and training partners.
That's true.
Resilience is like a muscle. You need the right kind of support and training to develop it.
Now, the book also talks about the power of passion.
Yeah.
And not just about being excited about your idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Ho argues that passion is contagious.
Okay.
It inspires your team, it attracts investors, and it resonates with your customers. They can sense when you genuinely believe in what you're doing.
So it's not just about having a great product or service. It's about the energy and conviction you bring to the table.
Exactly, and think about it from your own perspective as a consumer.
Yeah.
Are you more likely to buy from someone who's clearly passionate about their work?
Oh, for sure.
Or someone who's just going through the motions?
Definitely the passionate one.
Right, their enthusiasm is infectious.
Okay, let's shift gears to a topic that's super relevant to anyone starting out.
Sure.
Identifying your niche.
Yeah.
The book really hammers home the importance of market research.
Yeah, and for good reason. A lot of aspiring entrepreneurs skip this step because they think it's boring or tedious.
Makes sense.
But market research is like building a foundation for your house.
Okay.
If you don't do it properly, the whole structure is going to be shaky.
So what's the right way to go about this?
Well,
The book mentions surveys, interviews, even diving into social media to see what people are saying.
the key is to use a mix of methods to get a well-rounded picture of your target audience.
Got it.
And don't just focus on demographics like age or location, dig deeper.
Okay.
What are their pain point? What are their aspirations? What are their values?
I see.
This is where creating detailed customer personas comes in handy.
Personas, those are those fictional profiles that represent your ideal customer, right?
Exactly. They help you humanize your target audience and make better decisions about everything from product development to marketing.
Yeah, I can see how that would be useful. Instead of trying to appeal to everyone, you're laser focused on the people who are most likely to benefit from your product or service.
Right. Think about it this way.
Okay.
If you were launching a business today, who would be that one person you'd design your entire product or service around? What makes them tick? What keeps them up at night? What are their dreams and aspirations?
Okay, now that we've got this resilient mindset and we've identified our niche,
Yeah.
let's move on to crafting a business plan.
Okay.
The book goes into great detail about all the essential components, executive summary, market analysis, you name it.
And while all of those components are important,
Yeah.
Dr. Ho really stresses being realistic.
Okay.
Especially with your financial projections.
Okay.
Investors can spot inflated numbers a mile away.
Right.
And it immediately sends a red flag about your credibility.
Yeah, it's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand.
Exactly.
Might look impressive at first,
Right.
but it's not going to last.
And remember that quote we mentioned earlier?
It doesn't kill you.
Entrepreneurship is not about avoiding failure, it's about learning to thrive despite it.
Right.
A well-structured business plan can actually help you navigate those inevitable failures by providing a roadmap for adjustments and course corrections.
So it's not just about securing funding. It's about having a framework for making smart decisions even when things get tough.
Precisely, and it forces you to think critically about every aspect of your business, from your revenue model to your marketing strategy.
Okay.
It's like having a blueprint for success, but one that's flexible enough to adapt to changing circumstances.
Moving on to branding, Dr. Ho's advice on crafting a compelling value proposition is spot on.
Yeah.
It's about figuring out what makes you unique and communicating that clearly to your target audience.
It's not just about having a catchy slogan or a cool logo.
Right.
It's about understanding what problem you're solving for your customers and why they should choose you over the competition.
So, like, why should anyone care?
Right.
Why should they choose your product or service over the countless others out there?
You have to give them a reason to believe that you're the best solution for their needs.
Okay.
What are the specific benefits they'll experience? What are the tangible outcomes they can expect?
Uh-huh.
How will your product or service make their lives better?
So it's about focusing on the customer's perspective, not just your own.
Absolutely. And that ties into the importance of having a consistent brand voice across all platforms. It's about creating a cohesive experience for your customers, whether they're interacting with you on social media, reading your website, or receiving an email from you.
Like having a personality for your brand, one that's authentic and relatable.
Think about it this way. If a brand you love suddenly started acting completely out of character,
Yep.
it would be jarring, right?
Totally.
That inconsistency would erode your trust.
Okay, speaking of building trust, let's move on to the topic of assembling your team.
Right.
Dr. Ho shares this interesting insight, prioritizing cultural fit as much as skills when hiring.
Especially crucial for startups because you're building a company from the ground up.
Okay.
You need a team that's not only talented, but also shares your vision and values.
Have you ever been in a situation where a team's lack of cultural fit just totally sabotaged a project?
Oh, yeah. It's like trying to fit square pegs into round holes.
Yeah.
You might have all the right ingredients, but if they don't mesh well together, the recipe is going to fail.
And the book goes beyond just hiring the right people.
Yeah.
Dr. Ho stresses the importance of fostering a positive company culture from the get-go.
It's about creating an environment where people feel valued, respected, and empowered to do their best work. Okay.
And this leads to higher engagement, better productivity, and ultimately a more successful business.
So what's one thing our listener can do today in their current workplace
Oh, that's a good question.
to make it just a bit more positive, even if they're not leading a company?
Yeah.
What's a small but meaningful action they could take?
I love that challenge. It could be as simple as offering a genuine compliment to a colleague, lending a helping hand on a project, or simply being more mindful of your own additive and interactions.
On to funding your startup, the book gives a great rundown of various options, from bootstrapping to angel investors to even crowdfunding.
Let's zoom in on crowdfunding for a moment.
Okay.
Why might this appeal to you, our listener? What are its unique pros and cons?
And why might it not be the right fit for certain businesses or entrepreneurs?
Crowdfunding can be a fantastic way to raise capital and validate your idea, but it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
It requires a lot of work to build a compelling campaign and engage your audience.
Sure.
It's not just about posting a project and hoping for the best. So it's about building a community around your idea and getting people excited about what you're doing.
Exactly. And that requires strong storytelling, compelling visuals, and a clear value proposition. You have to convince people that your project is worth supporting, both financially and emotionally.
It's about creating a movement, not just asking for money.
Right. It really is. It really is. Now we've covered mindset, your niche planning, branding, team building, and funding. We're starting to get a real feel for Dr. Ho's approach to building a thriving startup. But there's one crucial element we haven't touched on yet.
You're talking about the actual launch, right? That moment where all this prep work comes together?
Exactly. And Dr. Ho doesn't just say, launch it and see what happens. They emphasize having a rock-solid launch strategy.
So it's more than just picking a date and sending out a press release.
Way more. The book talks about clearly defining your launch goals. What are you trying to achieve? Is it revenue, customer acquisition, brand awareness, or something else entirely?
Yeah, it's about knowing what success looks like for you, because that's going to shape your marketing plan, your product roadmap, everything.
Precisely. Think of it like planning a road trip. You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving without knowing your destination, would you?
Definitely not. And speaking of marketing, the book has a ton of practical advice on that front.
It does, and one of the most valuable takeaways is the emphasis on truly understanding your target audience.
Right. It's not just about shouting your message from the rooftops. It's about crafting a message that resonates with the people you're trying to reach.
Think about their pain points, their aspirations, their goals. How can your product or service help them achieve those things?
It's about solving problems, not just selling features.
Exactly. And once you have that deep understanding of your audience, then you can start exploring different marketing tactics.
The book mentions social media content marketing partnerships, even hosting a launch event or webinar.
It's about using a mix of channels to create buzz and excitement around your launch. And remember, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one startup might not work for another.
So you've launched, the confetti is settled. Now what?
Now you measure your success.
Okay.
Yeah, the book talks about tracking key metrics like user engagement, conversion rates, and of course, customer feedback.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Dr. Ho argues that feedback, even negative feedback, is a gift.
A gift? I'm intrigued.
Think about it. Even critical feedback can be incredibly valuable because it helps you identify areas where you can improve your product or service.
Okay, so it's not just about celebrating the wins. It's about constantly learning and iterating based on real-world data.
Exactly. And that ties back to that entrepreneurial mindset we talked about earlier: resilience, adaptability, the willingness to embrace change and make adjustments based on what you're learning.
Okay, so we've covered launching and measuring success. But what about sustaining that success over the long haul? How do you keep the momentum going?
That's where things get even more challenging, but Dr. Ho offers some great advice on that front as well. They emphasize the importance of continuous improvement.
So it's not about reaching a certain level and then coasting.
Definitely not. It's about always looking for ways to make your product or service better, to streamline your operations to better serve your customers.
Okay, and that involves building a culture of feedback, right? Making sure everyone feels comfortable sharing ideas and suggestions.
Absolutely. It's about creating an environment where feedback is seen as a gift, not a criticism, and where everyone is empowered to contribute to the company's growth.
Now, what about building customer loyalty? That seems crucial for long-term success.
You're absolutely right. It's much easier and more profitable to keep existing customers happy than it is to constantly be chasing after new ones.
Okay, so how do you build that loyalty, according to Dr. Ho?
It starts with delivering exceptional customer service, making people feel valued, heard, and appreciated.
It's about going above and beyond to solve their problems and make their experience.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Experience with your brand, a positive one.
Exactly, and it goes beyond just resolving issues quickly. It's about creating a positive, memorable experience for every customer, every time.
The book also talks about the importance of engagement, using social media content marketing and other channels to stay top of mind with your customers and build a community around your brand.
Think of it like nurturing a relationship. You wouldn't ignore your friends or loved ones for months and then expect them to be there when you need something, right?
That's a great analogy. So how can our listener better engage with their own customers or clients, even if they're not running a full-blown startup?
I think the key lies in making your interactions more than just transactional. How can you add value, spark a conversation, or simply make someone's day?
Okay, so continuous improvement, customer loyalty. But what about preparing for those future challenges that inevitably come with running a business?
Yes. Dr. Ho doesn't sugarcoat the realities of entrepreneurship. There will be bumps in the road. There will be setbacks. There will be moments where you question everything.
Right, but it's about how you respond to those challenges, right?
Exactly, and that's where having a strong support system comes in. People who can offer encouragement advice and maybe even a dose of tough love when you need it.
It's about remembering that you're not in this alone. You have people who believe in you and want to see you succeed.
Exactly, and that ties back to the entrepreneurial mindset we talked about earlier, resilience, adaptability, and the willingness to learn from your mistakes.
Okay, so we've talked about mindset, niche, planning, branding, team building, funding, launching, measuring success, sustaining that success, and even preparing for future challenges. What else is there?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me in the book was the discussion of exit strategies.
Exit strategies? Isn't that something you worry about much later down the line?
A lot of entrepreneurs avoid thinking about it because they're so focused on getting their business off the ground. But Dr. Ho argues that it's actually smart to have an exit strategy in place from the beginning.
Okay, so it's not about being eager to jump ship. It's about being strategic and understanding your options.
Exactly. It's about knowing what success looks like for you in the long run. Do you want to sell your company to a larger corporation, merge with another startup, or maybe even go public?
It's about having a plan for the future, even if that future is years down the road.
Precisely. And that long-term thinking is often what separates successful entrepreneurs from those who fizzle out after the initial excitement wears off.
So for our listener, it's worth considering what their ideal outcome would be. What would make them feel like they've truly achieved their entrepreneurial goals?
It's a powerful question to ask yourself. It forces you to think beyond the immediate challenges and envision the bigger picture.
Okay, we're getting close to the end of our deep dive, but there's one more topic I want to touch on. Staying adaptable in a constantly changing market.
That's a crucial one. The business world is like a fast-moving river. If you try to stand still, you're going to get swept away.
So how do you stay ahead of the curve, according to Dr. Ho?
It's about having a growth mindset, embracing change rather than resisting it.
It's about being willing to pivot, adjust your strategies, even completely overhaul your business model if that's what it takes to stay relevant.
Exactly. And that involves keeping a close eye on industry trends, consumer behavior, and what your competitors are doing.
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Precisely. You need to be constantly learning and evolving, both personally and professionally.
So for our listener, it's about making a conscious effort to stay informed, reading industry publications, attending conferences, networking with other professionals, and always being open to new ideas.
And that's what Dr. Ho really emphasizes throughout the entire book. It's not just about building a successful business, it's about personal growth, about becoming a more resilient, adaptable, and innovative individual.
It's about using entrepreneurship as a vehicle for self-discovery and fulfillment.
Exactly, and I think that's why Thrive from Day One resonates so deeply with people. It's about making a difference, about leaving your mark on the world.
That's inspiring. As we wrap up our deep dive, I have to ask, what's that one nugget of wisdom from Dr. Ho's book that's going to stick with you?
For me, it's the emphasis on mentorship and community engagement. It speaks to the heart of what entrepreneurship is all about: collaboration, support, and learning from those who have gone before you.
It's about understanding that you're not alone on this journey. There's a whole community of people who are rooting for you and want to see you succeed. Yeah, it really is a powerful message.
And it's something we can all apply to our own lives, whether we're entrepreneurs or not. The idea of building each other up and celebrating collective success is something we need more of.
Absolutely.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought from Dr. Ho.
Okay, I'm ready.
Dr. Ho writes, "The foundation of a thriving startup is not just strategy, but the courage to take risks."
I love that.
So for you listening, what's one risk you've been considering that might just be your stepping stone to something amazing? It could be a career change, a creative project, or even just saying yes to an opportunity that scares you a little.
Yeah, it's about embracing that discomfort and recognizing that it's often on the other side of fear that we find our greatest growth.
Exactly. So go out there, take that leap, and see where it leads you. You might be surprised at what you're capable of achieving.
Well said. This has been such an insightful deep dive into the world of startups. Thanks for guiding us through Dr. Ho's wisdom.
It's been a pleasure.
For our listeners, if you're feeling inspired and want to learn more, we highly recommend checking out Dr. Ho's work.
You can find a treasure trove of resources on their website, kupashumsan.net.
And be sure to grab a copy of Thrive from Day One, a startup founder's guide to success. It's a must-read for anyone who's ever dreamed of starting their own business or simply wants to level up their entrepreneurial game.
Until next time, keep dreaming big, keep learning, and keep thriving.
See you on our next deep dive.
Hello to you.
See you on our next deep dive.
Raise your voice. Let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise. In the darkest night, stars still light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force, don't you ever give up. Take a stand, make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on, like a diamond in the sky. Reach high and let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. In the depths of the night, when shadows try to dim your glow, remember you're a beacon, a guiding light. The stars echo, hold on to hope. Let it fuel your burning desire. For in every challenge lies the spark of a brighter fire. So when the journey gets tough and the road seems long, just close your eyes, hear the chorus and carry on strong. With each step, with each breath, let your brilliance ignite. For you, my friend, were meant to shine on through the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest, chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise. In the darkest night, stars still light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on, like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest, chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise. In the darkest night, stars still light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on, like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. You were born to light up the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest, chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise in the darkest night. Stars to light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. You were born to light up the night. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. Shine on, like the spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on you, you were born to light up the night. In the depths of the night, when shadows try to dim your glow, remember you're a beacon, a guiding light, as stars echo. Hold on to hope, let it fuel your burning desire. For in every challenge lies the spark of a brighter fire. So when the journey gets tough and the road seems long, just close your eyes, hear the chorus and carry on strong. With each step, with each breath, let your brilliance ignite. For you, my friend, were meant to shine on through the night.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.